Thursday. And on our first episode here, we have a judge who was reprimanded for doing something in her chambers very loudly, enough that law clerks and others can hear. And we're going to talk about this tie that this judge has to Todd Chrisley from the reality show Todd Chrisley Knows Best. And then we also have the tie to former President Obama that this judge has. So we're going to get into this story. You're not going to want to miss that one. And Boosie. Boosie is not having a good 2026. So he allegedly took a hookah base, the bottom of a hookah, and cracked it over the head of a security guard. So he may be looking at some trouble here. Could be potential jail time if he is found guilty. So we got to get into that. If you have not already done so, come on in, like the video as you come in. It's a free way to support the channel and it means a lot. Let me know if you're part of the Aries crew by leaving hashtag Aries crew in the comments, or if you're a first time watcher, leave first time watcher. So now we got to get into this judge. So this judge is Miss Eleanor Ross, and she's a judge out in Atlanta, Georgia. And she was appointed by former President Obama. And she also presided over the case that sent Todd Chrisley and his wife to jail for tax evasion. So she's got a pretty well-known name. I guess she's pretty good at her job if she was appointed by President Obama and working on a high-profile case such as that with Todd Chrisley, but her judgment in making decisions that are appropriate for the workplace, that's in question here because it looks like she got in trouble for getting nasty in her chambers and was doing so loudly enough that others can hear. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I like my judges with the highest standards of morals and ethics. So when I'm hearing that a judge is getting it on in their chamber, and not only that, but they're getting it on loud enough so that others can hear, I don't know, that's just screaming tacky. Like, I'm going to need you to do better. You went through law school, all of that stuff, and then you do something like that. And then on top of that, it wasn't even with her husband. So we got to get into this because it's messy. And I love the fact that it's a judge because they're trying to, when they're doing their cases, they're presiding over and they kind of give this better than you type of air. And to see them doing stuff like regular people and getting in trouble just like regular people is a nice little humbling moment. So let's get into these details. As being reported by TMZ, the federal district court judge who got reprimanded for having noisy adult interaction, if you know what I mean, in her chambers with a police officer as part of her extramarital affair has been identified. Messy. So she was having an extramarital affair in her chambers as a judge. Okay. Not a good look at all. And she's got connections to former President Barack Obama and Todd Chrisley. Eleanor Ross is the judge in question here. She's based in Atlanta with the U.S. District Court for Northern District of Georgia. Ross was appointed by President Obama during his second term, and in November 2022, she was the judge who sentenced Todd to 12 years in federal custody as part of a bank fraud and tax evasion case. Now, as you know, that sentence, he was pardoned. Him and his wife was pardoned by President Trump, but Todd and his wife did spend some time. His wife's Julie, I believe is her name. They did spend some time in prison. And Todd, that was not Todd's thing. I don't know why they sent Todd to prison because you can tell Todd wasn't going to last very long in prison, but he did it. He did his few years that he was in there. But that case is kind of where this particular judge fell on my radar. I don't know if she did anything else that was kind of on a higher profile level like that. And let's see, Bloomberg unmasked Ross in a report Thursday. Her identity had previously been unknown to the public after the Judicial Committee Conduct Committee found that she had had adult interaction in her chambers during business hours. Come on. During business hours. I mean, you couldn't wait. This is just too funny to me to be a judge who could not wait, had to get this on while she was in the chambers during business hours is wild to me. And this is the man that she was creeping with, that she was having the extramarital affair with, that prompted this whole little thing here with a cop who was not her husband. So that's this gentleman here. Their romps were reportedly within earshot of law clerks. So that's just tacky on both sides because you're a police officer. This is a judge. So you guys are in professional positions. You're on work hours. You either issuing people tickets or you're issuing people court sentences, putting them in jail, prison. And you guys can't keep it classy. I mean, you can't go to a hotel, somebody's house. You have to do that in the chambers during business hours. Mm-mm. Not a good look. Let me know what you guys think about this. To me, I just couldn't go into this person's courtroom knowing this about them. It'd be hard for me to take you seriously. And then you trying to tell me something about myself and you can't even control yourself during business hours. Uh, mm-mm. No, that's just not gonna work. That won't work for me. Ross Affair partner was reportedly Atlanta Police Department Deputy Chief Kelly Collier. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta. Wasn't there a judge, Fannie? I don't know if she's a judge or an attorney out there, Fannie Willis, who was also allegedly having an extramarital affair. An attorney who was working on the case when they were trying to get President Trump on something I think related to the Georgia election. So I don't know what's happening out there in Atlanta, but something's going on out there. And it says here, Chrisley served more than 3 years of the sentence before President Trump pardoned him last year. He's already ripping Ross. I'm sure as soon as Chrisley got a hold of this information, he was like, He's already ripping Ross on social media, blasting her as, quote, a corrupt judge who couldn't focus on her case because she was too busy clapping them cheeks in her chambers, end quote. Said you're clapping them cheeks, ma'am, and could not focus on the case. And so what's even worse is this is her husband. I don't know if you can kind of see him, but he's right over here. And her husband is a state court judge, Brian Ross, a former state prosecutor who sat behind her in 2014 Senate confirmation hearing. So her husband is a judge. She's a judge doing too much in her chamber, so much so that the law clerks can hear. So I'm sure he found out because I'm pretty confident that's probably a small world. And you messing with a deputy police chief, messy, 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 especially from people who, again, can put you in jail, prison, or write you a ticket. That is crazy to me. I'm very curious to see what you think about this. To me, I just, you might have to go on and have a seat, my friend. You might have just messed it up because I just can't not take it seriously if you come and say something to me because I'm going to be looking at you sideways like, excuse me, ma'am, you doing more stuff than I've seen regular people do. Maybe she thought she can get away with it for because she was a judge. Let's take a pause here for the comments. Sophia, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see, is it Lucy? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. So let me know what y'all think. Do you think that this judge was doing too much? Do you think that she should still be able to hear cases, or did she not show good character, good moral judgment, and should have a seat? Definitely want to hear what you think about this one. But she made it onto our list for WTF Were You Thinking? Because as a judge, I expect more. Not a good look. Not a good look. Now let's go into Boosie. So Boosie has been having an interesting 2026. So he normally, I see him a lot on Vlad. He does a lot of interviews with Vlad and he talks to him about different topics, trending things that are going on, whether that be cases, different hip hop stars, and gets his take on it. And Boosie's a very entertaining guy. So it's fun to watch those clips. I don't think I've sat and watched the whole interview he's done, but if I see a clip come across my timeline on YouTube, I'm going to check it out. He's relatively entertaining. I like listening to him. I don't know that I'd do anything because he suggested it or take his advice, but if you have a couple minutes to spare, I'll certainly listen to something he has to say. And then those two look like their business dealings with each other kind of went south when Boosie came out talking about he wanted to get $5,000 more from Vlad just to sit and talk with the man, have an interview. And Vlad wasn't going to do that. So he said, I'm going to go on my own and do my own thing. So at first people were kind of like, Vlad, you don't want to just give him 5,000? You're being greedy. It's just 5,000. What's the problem? You guys work together a lot. The clips kind of blow up with him. Seems to be working out. And then Vlad came out and did his response and was like, no, actually he wanted 40,000. And I said, I can't do that. I'll pretty much not be making no money on it. And to me, that's crazy that you're asking for 40,000 just to sit and talk to somebody. And then it comes out he was paying him 25,000 to do that. How are you not happy with $25,000? I don't know. Because to get that just to talk to somebody, and in some cases, that's somebody's yearly salary they try to take care of a family on. I just had a hard time feeling sorry for Boosie being in that situation. I wish somebody would pay me $25,000 just to hear me talk for a couple of hours. No problems there. Sign me up. I'm available, Vlad. We can talk about anything for that kind of money. You ain't gonna get no complaints here, but to each their own. I don't know Boosie's pockets, and he may have felt like that wasn't meeting his value. So he's gone off and done his own thing. I think he released something on Patreon, might be doing his own YouTube thing. But he unfortunately may not have been making all the best decisions this year because he allegedly took like the base of a hookah, and I guess it was glass, and he allegedly cracked a security guard across the head with it. And that security guard had to go to the hospital and get stitches, allegedly 8 stitches. Boosie is currently on probation for a federal charge, so this could not be a good look. His lawyer came out and was trying to say, you didn't really do anything. But then he was saying that it was in defense of a person, and they want the state to see that information as well. And allegedly, it was Boosie's niece who was being kicked out of the club, or maybe escorted out of the club, and he didn't like that was happening, and that's when the incident occurred between himself and the security guard, when the security guard was taking his niece out. I'm not sure if it was an aggressive way that the niece was being taken out, but when you on probation, federal probation at that, you don't want to mess around and cracking somebody across their head with a glass base. And you could have, fortunately he did not pass away. Fortunately, he did not pass away or get into a coma. And I don't know what kind of potential damage this person may have if this did occur, but that to me is not a smart thing to do, because now you may have further consequences, or it may impact your probation that you're on for the other situation. Then you can't really do too much with your kids. And then this Patreon and YouTube that you're trying to get started may not really be able to get started if you do end up having to do any type of time or anything related to this. So that's why Boosie has made it on to WTF Were You Thinking, because you're kind of messing up your opportunities. You have a lot of things got going for you in a very good way. Why you want to blow that on something like this, I will never know. But let's get into this story here, because that kind of blew my mind, that somebody would hit someone with something like that, because that just sounds like it was painful. If you have to go get 8 stitches and your head gets cracked open, I can only imagine. Just to hit this person across the head was not a smart decision whatsoever. I don't know what was going across his head. So that's, I don't know if this person was being super aggressive with his niece or what happened that made that response seem like that made sense. But allegedly, there is video of this particular situation happening. All right, so this is some of the information that I am finding on this situation. So, rapper Boosie was charged with felony aggravated assault for allegedly attacking a Houston nightclub security guard with a glass hookah on May 24, 2026. The strike reportedly left the guard the head injury requiring 8 staples, not stitches, staples in the head. So, a woman in Boosie's group, this is kind of the timeline of the incident that occurred. A woman in Boosie's group was denied entry to a closed nightclub restroom. The security guard claims she elbowed him in the face as he bent down to pick up her dropped keys and phone. Boosie allegedly struck him in the back of the head with the hookah. Boosie appeared in Harris County, Texas courtroom, where a walkthrough bond was set at $85,000. He is scheduled for his next court appearance on September 15th, 2026, where they'll be looking at some more information related to this particular case. This is one I'm going to be keeping track of here, but let me know what you think. Do you think that Boosie was right to defend this person in his group? Allegedly, it was his niece. Do you think he went overboard with using a glass hookah to hit this person allegedly in the back of the head? That's wild to hit him in the back of the head. And let's get into this. Boosie has publicly denied the severity of the accusation of the allegations, dismissing the charges on his social media accounts as a money grab and publicly questioning the security guards' backgrounds and credibility. So he did say, I guess this person had been into some potential criminal activity in the past where they may not have, should not have been able to be a security guard, according to what Boosie says allegedly. So we'll be following this to see what else comes from this, what may be a potential consequence if there is one, or any other details that come out on this story. So make sure you have your notifications on so you can keep track of the story with us here on Aries Rose TV. We will be doing our Messy Mondays next Monday. If you didn't catch the episode that we did last Monday, that replay is available. Catch up on that one. We did some good stories there. And if you have any stories that we should include in WTF Were They Thinking Wednesdays, leave a message here, or you can let me know in the communities tab. If we can do that story, we definitely will. And before we end this live tonight, I want to take a moment to do dedication to Peebo Bryson. He's passed away, a very good R&B singer. He was from the Quiet Storm era in the late 80s and 90s. He did a lot of great songs with Disney back when Disney was getting the heavy hitters and putting out bangers when they did their movies. So he did A Whole New World with the Aladdin movie, and he sang that, and he also sang Beauty and the Beast along with Celine Dion. Beautiful voice, silky smooth R&B voice. If you've never heard his music, you can find it on YouTube. You are missing out. Very talented man. Very sad to hear he passed away at the age of 75 because of a stroke. Let's get into these details here about what was going on with Peebo Bryson here towards the end of his life. Very sad. There's another R&B icon from a 70s R&B group, the Silvers, Foster Silver, who's a singer, part of that group. He passed away recently as well. So sad time when we start losing these legends. And this is the story of Peebo Bryson's passing is being reported by TMZ. Peebo Bryson has died after suffering a stroke, TMZ has learned. Peebo's family tells TMZ, quote, with broken hearts and profound sadness, the family of two-time Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, and balladeer Peebo Bryson announces his passing, end quote. Peebo was the legendary voice behind Oscar-winning Disney classics Beauty and the Beast and A Whole New World. Both of his theme songs won Grammy Awards, and they still hold up today. Let me know in the chat if you remember when those classic songs came out. And that's back when Disney was just doing such good movies, and their music was timeless. Those songs that they would have with those movies back in the day are still songs that hold up today. Some of the newer stuff they put out, I don't know that I'd be listening to that music 20, 30 years from now, but back when Disney was really putting some energy and getting them heavy hitters on their music, they were putting out some real solid hits. I missed that. I definitely missed that time. We're told the singer died Tuesday at 5 p.m., surrounded by the love of his family and those closest to him. This is Peebo, best known for soulful ballads and duets. His 1991 collab with Celine Dion from Beauty and the Beast was a huge hit. Following year, Peebo and Regina Belle, that's who he sang it with, Regina Belle. She's got a beautiful voice too. A Whole New World for Disney's Aladdin. Song reached the top of the Billboard Hot 100, first song from an animated film to do so. So congratulations to you, sir. That was your voice. That was you and Regina Belle bringing that magic to life. And I still love that song. That song actually brings me to tears because it's just one of those moments. It's just a special song. It's a special song, and I really think they did it. They knocked that one out of the park. The last time we got Peebo was in 2019 at LAX. We chopped it up with him about Walt Disney's influence and Disney stock. Other notable Peebo hits: Can You Stop the Rain? Tonight I Celebrate My Love, Feel the Fire, If You're Ever in My Arms Again. Peebo is survived by his wife, Tanya Boniface Bryson, and their son Robert, his daughter Linda Bryson, and his three grandkids. He was 75 years old. May he rest in peace. Thank you for the music. Those hits are timeless. Thank you for the memories that went along with those great Disney movies. Raymond, absolutely, it was great music. What was your favorite Peebo Bryson song or theme song that he sang? Let me know which one you liked. Your influence will last. I mean, music, art, movies, things like that that you can tap into, 20, 30, 50, 100 years after you're passed away. That type of art is just a legacy to keep you alive forever. And when you're solid and the music transcends time, it can speak to people no matter what area you're in, whether you just made it yesterday or was made a long time ago. And he is one of those classic singers that can reach across time and generations. Very sad loss. I'm sorry he had a stroke, and I truly hope he's resting in peace. Condolences to his family. Make sure you catch us on Friday. We may do a surprise live here on Thursday, so make sure you have your notifications on to find out. But we will definitely be going live on Friday so we can start off our weekend right. And if you have not already done so, we'd love to have you a part of the Aries crew. We have fun over here. Just hit that subscribe button and then hit that notification bell and select all so you can find out anytime I post on here, go live, post on the community tab, and all that good stuff so you don't miss out. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Friday.